Give it a shot. Motherfucker.
Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge.
And I'm Ashley Sledge.
And let's talk horror. Now, today we are joined by somebody that, again, not as just an amazing content creator, but somebody that's a genuine friend to Ashley and I both. I talk to this guy at least once a week, and I love him with all my heart. We have Justin from Rhine1988. Justin, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you both doing, Ken and Ashley?
We're doing good.
A lot better
Good.
now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I am excited to be here. I always love chatting with you both, so very, very excited.
Yes.
There was a handful of people that right when we decided we were going to do this, we knew we had to get a hold of, and you were one of them because we genuinely have an amazing time anytime that either one of us get to hang out with you. So
Same here.
for the
Thank
people
you.
that are new here that don't know Justin, I have all his social media links as well as his YouTube link down in the description below. So make sure you're following him on social media and subscribing to the YouTube. And for the people that don't know you yet, can you tell people a little bit about what you do over at the channel, Justin?
Well, I am a physical media collector, but not only that, I review movies, mostly horror movies, but I like to talk about all genres of movies. I am also very much I love my channel to be very uplifting and positive, and I want people to go to the channel, and even if they're not big movie fans, which a lot of them are, but even if they're not, I just hope that whoever comes across the videos, maybe if they're having a downer of a day, they get some positivity with the videos, because I'm all for that. I talk about all different things though, like movies mostly, but I came out on YouTube 9 years ago as gay.
Yeah.
And that was a big part of my channel and still is. And every Pride Month, which Pride Month is next month, I always come up with some fun stuff to surround the community, both people within the community and just the supporters as well. Yeah, and I've been on YouTube for 14 years now. So 15 in December, I think 15. Yeah, this upcoming December will be 15 years, but over 10 years at least. And it's just been an awesome time. I still love doing what I do. I love talking movies. I like talking in general. I'm a very passionate person. And I've been so very lucky to not only have you two as friends from meeting you on YouTube, but also so many other people, Nick and Doug and just so many people. I can name off a ton of people, but I won't. But I just want to tell everybody I love them. So yeah. It's been an awesome ride, and I still have things I want to do on the channel and stuff I want to talk about.
What I love about that is that YouTube gave you the platform to be able to express who you really are.
Yes.
And all the positivity and everything is just amazing. We love talking to you because of how positive and uplifting you are. So,
and we figure if we're going to bring somebody on here to defend something,
yes,
who better than the most positive person that
Thank
we
you.
know?
So do you want to tell everybody what movie we are defending today?
I would love to, because this is one of my favorite movies. Well, one of my favorite movies in the franchise. Why don't I just say one of my favorite movies? Is it top 100? Probably not, but it's one of my favorites. And that is Jason, or Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, people.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Jason movies.
I'm going to be extremely transparent here.
Okay.
This is one of my least favorite films in the franchise, but
Yes.
the good thing is it's still a Friday the 13th movie, and we are here to talk about the positives.
We have some positives. I mean, every movie has their positives, right?
I agree.
But
Yeah.
first, we want to talk about the Rotten Tomato scores. And Justin, you're winning an award today because
am I really?
This is the worst reviewed movie that we've done so far for In Defense Of. It has a tomato meter of 11% and an audience score of 27%. Now, with that, I think that a lot of people, you want to...
Okay, what are some of the criticisms that you hear about this movie?
Well, the first one I hear, they kind of go together. They go together. The first one I hear is one, it really just takes place on a boat, takes place on a ship. And then the other one is, it's not really New York. It's filmed in Canada. And for me, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about that stuff. Right. Because one, I love a lot of the scenes that take place on the ship. I think any horror movie, not just this one, but I think any horror movie that takes place on a ship is sometimes the scariest, because there's very little places that you can run and hide.
Yes.
Sometimes it can be isolating. And with this movie, it's like, there's like maybe 10 people that are like on the boat, and like this is this big ship, and it's very empty and very creepy and very isolating on the boat. So I love that stuff. I think a lot of the best moments are on the ship. So thumbs up there for me.
With that, for sure. Most of, like I think that they didn't even have to necessarily go to Manhattan. Just stay on the boat, just kill them all on the boat. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and up until this point, we've had 7 movies take place in Camp Crystal Lake.
So we got to do something.
7 films.
We have to do something different, right? I mean,
so, and one thing I want to say, I'm not a huge fan of the ship aspect of it. Like that, if it would have been, Jason on a cruise ship, I would have been much more accepting of that, because then I would have known what I was getting into.
Because of how they
marketed
it. Yeah.
But what I will say is, the filming in Montreal, I don't care. When I watch the movie,
I don't care either.
It does look like New York.
Yeah, I mean, like one of the best
things
to me is when you have Jason looking up, when he's in the city and like he sees himself on the billboard,
and he totally does the Michael Myers head tilt
thing. I know,
it killed me. I'm like, yes, I love it.
I also think you talk about the Montreal stuff, you talk about the New York stuff. I think that's some of the best things about the movie too. You have the iconic moment where they actually filmed in Times Square, and you see Jason in Times Square, and you see the Coca-Cola lit up sign.
Yeah.
I mean, that's iconic in the franchise. I mean, who would have ever thought that Jason Voorhees would be standing in Times Square?
Right.
So I think that's really cool. But like you both said too, like when you watch the movie, like I'm not seeing Montreal. I'm like seeing New York. I thought they did such a great job, especially for 1989. They did such a great job making that believable as New York.
Yes.
And, I just want to talk about it. And I just want to talk about it real quick. It's like, I love the fact that like Scream 6, like, has a lot of winks and nods to not only, the idea they're filming in Canada. Jason Takes Manhattan, filmed in Montreal. And the movie's playing at one point in the film. So kudos to Scream 6 for like showing some Jason Takes Manhattan love. So
and like you said, I don't ever watch a movie that's supposed to be taking place in Utah where they film in Canada, and I'm like, oh, they actually film this in Canada. I don't give a shit about Utah. I mean, it's things like that. Like that's just, to me, that is you trying to nitpick. Yes, you are literally looking for things to bitch about. But as always, we do want to talk about some of the major criticisms that they had on Rotten Tomatoes. And I'm not going to say any names, as always, but we've heard that there's weak humor, that there's bad acting. The movie should have been called Jason on a Boat. It has some of the weakest kills in the movie. And the one that I actually agree with, and this is the one that really, really irritates me, is all the kid Jason stuff. I don't like when she sees kid Jason when they're on the ship, and he
goes back and forth a lot of, like he's like kind of normal looking, and then like his eyeballs falling off, and like they're constantly changing his look.
Right. And I really, really dislike when you see him after the toxic waste has gotten him, how he's turned back into like a little boy again. But like I said, that's reaching. That is really like looking for things to complain about. So why do you think this movie means so much to you, Justin?
Well, it was one of the first Friday 13th films I remember. And it was before I actually like ever got like really into the franchise. I remember maybe I was 10 years old and I walked in the living room and this was playing on the TV. And we didn't watch the whole entire thing, but I remember there were moments that really scared me as a kid. Like now I see young Jason and he's kind of like, the way they did it was corny.
Yeah.
But as a kid, when I saw like, his face and everything and the prosthetics makeup, like it freaked me out. But then the idea of like this like killer in a hockey mask going around and like, killing people on a ship or killing people in New York, like it creeped me out. So, but after that experience, like I just over the years have really grown to love this movie.
Sure.
I really enjoyed it the first time I saw it. I love it now, and it is in my top 5 favorite Friday the 13th films. And I don't think many people can say that, and which is totally fine. And I get the flaws. I do. I'm one that tells you that this movie is not perfect. There are some flaws, like you talked about, little Jason Voorhees, like probably one of my least favorite things about this movie, because he goes from, big, Jason without the makeup, Jason with the makeup, like, not, what's the word I'm looking for? They did not like, continuous? Is that the word? Like, it was weird. Yeah, there we go. Continuity issues. But I just really love the film. I think that has a lot of charm to it. It was the end of a decade, 1989. And, when you look at Friday the 13th, a lot of the films were released in the 80s. That is, for me, like a big signature thing on why I love this franchise, is because you had you did have, I think, like pretty much 10 years of this franchise in the 80s. And in 1989, we didn't have You what?
Yeah, you had 8 movies in 9 years.
Yeah,
exactly. And in 1989, there was, the horror movie genre in 1989 was not big. Like it was dying out. I will always defend like Dream Child as well from Nightmare on Elm Street. Like I will Jason Takes Manhattan. I don't know. I just love this movie. It's one of my go-to films. I have a lot of fun with it. It has some great one-liners and, for me, some great characters, which we'll talk about. But yeah, I just have a lot of charm with it. I ramble. I apologize, but when I love a movie,
no, I love it, man.
Do you want to talk about some of your favorite moments from the film?
Of course. So one of my favorite moments has to do with one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character in the movie. And I wish there was more of her. Maybe that's like a flaw I can have with this, is there's not enough JJ in this movie. You got the awesome character with the guitar. I wish I had a replica of that guitar and I would be jamming out. Like I love JJ as a character. And it's a shame she dies. Like she's one of the first people that die in this movie.
Yeah.
She's a fun character. She's got one of my favorite kills in the Friday 13th franchise. I mean, she gets killed with her own guitar. And it's something that she loves. So ironic she dies out that way.
Right.
But I love that. I love the whole idea of Jason taking a hot rock and killing this guy in a sauna. Again, we were like trying to reach for like, creative kills, things that we can do, and they might be weak to some people, but there's just some charm to that. Again, I love a lot of it that takes place on the ship. The Times Square stuff, the whole idea of like, Jason just pissed off and he like, pardon my language, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Like just like going and like kicking these guys like jukebox on the ground, and the guys are like, hey man, I can't remember the line, like it's bad, but like takes off the mask and all that stuff. Like those are some of my favorite moments. Again, I ramble and I apologize.
No, you're good.
I'll be 100% honest with you. That's my favorite scene in the whole movie. When Jason takes the mask off and scares the punks.
We're good. We're good.
Yeah. And they run away. Yeah.
That is one of my favorite moments in the whole film. So we talked about some of your favorite moments in the film, and we just talked about some of the kills that obviously mean the most to you. But if you had to narrow it down to just one kill, what would you say your favorite kill from Takes Manhattan would be?
Well, I think this is like a lot of people mention this one, and rightfully so, and it is my favorite. It is Julius's death, when like Jason just has to punch off his head and like he gets decapitated, and then the head rolls into the dumpster. It's so cheesy, but like, you know, I think when people talk about this, maybe that's one of the first things that people talk about really is that death. And it might be hokey, but in my opinion, it's very, very iconic because Julius is like punching Jason and trying to take him down. And there's like a minute of like them just going back and forth and Julius like just knocking him around. And all Jason has to do is take one swing and the head goes flying. And that is great. So that is great.
And especially because, you know, Kane Hodder is a stuntman. And in this moment, you know, he's absorbing those blows. You know, like that's really Kane Hodder absorbing those blows. And another thing we talk about, you know, you talked about how this came out in 1989. You know, we're both young men when this came out. And when you're a little boy, this is definitely the sexiest of all the Friday the 13th movies because you got all the lights of New York and the, you know, like you said, the boat where you're so closed off and almost claustrophobic. Do you think that if you would have watched this now as compared to watching it as a young boy, do you think it would still have the same effect on you? Or do you think that nostalgia kind of takes over a little bit when you watch this film?
I think nostalgic takes over. Yeah. I think when I was a kid, it terrified me. There was moments that creeped me out. But now nostalgic really takes over for this movie. Because again, I really enjoyed it the first time I fully saw this movie. But over the years, I just love it. So yeah, there's the nostalgic there. Because again, I can see the criticism that people have with this movie, and I could totally understand when, you know, people say, it's not my favorite. You know, it can rank on people's list as like one of the lower ones, and I totally get it. But for me, again, like your question is, it's more nostalgic now for me because I just love it. I'm gonna say love a lot, but I do love this movie.
That's fine. And this is I mean, you have Jason, you know, grunting in other movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But in this scene right here, you actually get to see Jason talk a little bit. So if you ever say we've never heard Jason Voorhees talk, yes, you have. Just rewatch the film. So,
how about one-liners? What are your favorite one-liners?
Oh gosh.
Don't be a dweeb, Wayne.
Good old JJ. Wait, don't be a dweeb, man. I love that line. Gosh. When Rennie, I think her name is, and Scott Reeves' character walk into the diner and she's like,
You don't understand. There is a maniac trying to kill us. Welcome to New York.
I love that. Gosh, trying to think of some. Take your best shot. Good old Julius. Like he fought to the end. He fought to the end. I love Julius.
He did. He definitely did.
Yeah. One of my favorite, you know, and I think that he was a big reason why I like. Because I'm with you. When I watched this when I was young, I loved this movie. Yeah. I thought it was so sexy and so different. And Julius was one of my favorite characters. I grew up. I've always been a huge boxing fan.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I was a huge Julius fan growing up. And
I like how like when the thugs take her and he like wants to go after her, but like nobody else does. It's like, you know, Julius, he was gonna go after the thugs and save her, you know, but no one else was. They're like, oh, we gotta call the cops.
Right.
Even her uncle, that dirty man. I was gonna say language, but I'm not gonna cuss.
I'll get you there eventually.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we talked about a lot of positives about Jason Takes Manhattan. Justin. Obviously, this movie is very important to you, but if you had to say your biggest criticism of the film, what would your biggest criticism of Jason Takes Manhattan be?
Well, I think, you know, besides like the, you know, young Jason and that continuity issues, I think my other criticism with this movie is like you have these great kills in this movie. Like, and I would love to have seen, even though I love JJ as a character, I would love to have seen kind of the aftermath. I don't know if this movie was as much affected like part 7 was with like them cutting out the gore and the kills, but I think you see it a little bit in this movie. I think if the movie added the gore and you got to see more of like the kills and the aftermath of it, I think it would have made the movie better. So if I have a flaw with the movie, the biggest one is like, I'm totally with people when they say like I just wanted to see more kills or I wanted to see the aftermath of the kills, and I'm right there with them. I think that's my biggest flaw with this film. So
that's a perfect flaw because I agree. I think, but again, the MPAA made it very well known that they hated Friday the 13th.
And like the producers were very like, some of the producers didn't even like the franchise. Like they were ready to retire this franchise. And it's really sad because it's one of Paramount's biggest like franchises. So and so beloved.
It is sad that, you're making art, and people,
even your own people
aren't backing you up. That sucks.
Exactly. They're not standing behind you. And it's so sad that like, especially the later Friday the 13th films were affected by it. So yeah.
I was gonna ask you if it's your favorite in the franchise, but I think you already answered this. It's it's the fifth. Your fifth favorite.
My fifth favorite.
Right in the middle there, yeah.
Right in the middle. Right in the middle for me. Oh. I mean, if you want to know, I could tell you my favorite one right now. Like it's Jason Lives. Like that is my favorite of the franchise. Like I love Jason Lives. Like again, like Jason Takes Manhattan. That's another go-to of mine in the franchise. Like when I watch a Friday the 13th film, I love them all pretty much. I even love Jason Goes to Hell, which I loved your first episode. That was so much fun and great conversation. This is a franchise. You're welcome. This is a franchise that I pretty much love all of them. Like there's not a bad one for me in this franchise. Some people think I'm crazy thinking part 6 is the best one of the franchise. And I think it is like the best one. Like I love that one.
That's my favorite.
That's your favorite. And it's a lot. Yeah. And some people, it is their favorite one, but like, I just, you got part 2, you got part 3, you got part 4, part 1, but really like 2, 3, and 4. A lot of people would say those are their favorite ones of the franchise. Those are my top 5, but like part 6 is my favorite. And then ranking in that top 5 is like considered one of the worst ones, which is Jason Takes Manhattan. So,
right. Yeah. Well, see, for me, it always goes back and forth between 6, Jason Goes to Hell, and now that I'm older, I really, really like A New Beginning. Like
I love New Beginning. New Beginning.
I could have done without a lot of like the nudity shit because that's not really me. That's not what I know. But
he's vicious in that one.
If people can say what they want, listen, that's a total Jason film up until the last 2 minutes. Then it's Roy Burns. But
thank you.
You know what I mean? Like,
thank you.
The whole movie is Jason, man. Give me a break. It's him the whole movie.
It is. I'm going to say this right now, and you guys just said it. It is a Jason Voorhees movie. A Jason Voorhees movie. Except for the last 2 minutes. Like every time I watch this movie, I'm not seeing Roy. I'm seeing Jason Voorhees. And you got 100%. Iconic kills and iconic characters. I mean, Violet is like one of the best characters in the franchise. And I love her dance. And there's a video somewhere of me like dancing to the music. Like my friends Brian and Heather at their wedding, at their reception, they were playing all this iconic music, and that song from part 5 was playing, and I was jamming out to it. I was like, this is fantastic. So
that's awesome.
I'm gonna need that video. I know.
I was just gonna say, how do we get
I'm gonna have to try to find this video. It's somewhere. There was like drinking going on that night, and I was having a blast. I was like, one of my favorite songs came on.
That's awesome.
I need to hang out with Drunk Justin. I'm just saying that at least one time. It's gotta happen.
Drunk Justin, very tipsy Justin is a lot of fun. I mean, I'm fun now, but wait till you put some alcohol in me. Alcohol in me. Yeah. I'll be singing Teen Witch and all this stuff when I drink.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
So whenever we do a My First Horror Movie, we rank things out of 5 skulls. Well, now you got 2 hosts. So now we double the skulls. So what we're going to do here is we are going to be critics. And if you are going to critically rank this film, 0 to 5 or 0 to 10 skulls, My First Horror Movie Ken's popping out, 0 to 10 skulls, what would you rank Jason Takes Manhattan?
Like if I'm being okay, I apologize. So if I'm looking at it as like
critically, okay.
Critically, out of 10 skulls. Out of 10 skulls. So critically, I would say this is like a 7.5 for me.
Okay.
Out of 10. But like if I'm saying fanboy love nostalgic, this is like a 8.5. So
Sure.
sure. But yeah, critically, 7.5 because it is a flawed movie. And again, I can totally see when people are like, yeah, this movie has a lot of flaws. And I'm like, I agree with you with that. So
but I
it's
still
a flawed
love
film. But I still love this movie so much. So much. So top 5, people are like, you're crazy. And I'm like, I know.
But the thing is, if we all felt the same way, none of us would need to do YouTube because we don't have the exact same opinion. And that's what makes this so much fun.
It's awesome to hear other people's perspectives on things, even if you don't feel the same way.
There's movies that I absolutely adore that I defend. Jason Goes to Hell is one of them. You know, Halloween Resurrection for Ashley.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Halloween Resurrection. That is like one of mine. Like I like Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers.
The reason that we do this is because I love to hear other people's opinions on movies that I may not love, you know, and like to hear your passion makes me want to go back and rewatch it again. I just watched it 3 days ago. I want to go back and rewatch it again just because of the passion that you're bringing into this. And, you know, a lot of this stuff goes to what we hear our peers say about it. You know, there's a really, really big YouTuber that hates this movie. And I think that influences the way a lot of people look at this film. And like, again, it is not my favorite, but I do have a genuine respect for it because at least they took that big swing. They're like, you know what? We've been in Crystal Lake for 7 movies now. 7 times we've done the same thing. Let's try something
over and over.
You know, let's try something. So what would you say, babe? What would your critic number be?
So mine's going to be a 4.5. Like I said, it's not my favorite. There is issues that I have with it, but there are positives too. I really like Julius. That kill is awesome. Like you said, they finally got out of Camp Crystal Lake. You know, they're trying something different. I like the boat aspect of it. I think that that's scary, being isolated and not being able to get away into the woods, things like that. Jason showing, you know, the punks his face. Funny. And the Michael Myers head tilt. I love it.
Worst part of the film. Worst part of the film is the 3 seconds that Jason does this.
I love it.
Every time he does it,
I love it too. If you're I know. Don't say if you're a Myers fan, that's like just to your heart. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yes.
Cool story, bros.
Whatever.
I'm giving it the lowest here, guys. I'm going 4. And again, it's not my least favorite in the franchise. And I know that I think you're a fan of it, Justin, but Jason X ranked lower for me than Takes Man.
It used to be my least favorite one, but it's grown on me quite a bit.
Yeah, still my least favorite. And like I said, at least this one, you know, it took the swings and misses necessary for movies like Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X to be, you know, without this movie taking these big chances, maybe we wouldn't have gotten Jason Goes to Hell. Maybe we wouldn't have gotten Jason X. You know, while they're ridiculous, you know, Jason going to outer space or whatever have you.
Yeah.
And whether you love or hate Takes Manhattan, like you said, there are definitely the positives. I love the Sauna Rock kill that you were talking about.
Yeah.
I love watching Julius pound on Jason. I love seeing, you know, him show his face to the punks. I love Jason stopping a sexual assault from happening.
I was going to say that too.
Watch this movie, you're like, you know, maybe Jason's not that bad of a guy.
Yeah.
You know, and then dunking the uncle in the toxic waste. Like, there's points throughout this movie where you're actively rooting for Jason.
Yeah.
You know,
and, I mean, Kane Hodder does a really great job. Like, I think he's a good Jason.
And if we really think about it, think about all the, even Jason, Freddy versus Jason. Jason stops a sexual assault in that movie in the cornfield too. Jason's like, whoa, you can kill people,
but
we don't do that, you monster.
No.
Jason Voorhees, I agree. That's what makes you a real monster. So, we have one last question for you, Justin.
So we have one last question for you.
Okay.
We want you have like, say 30 seconds to defend this movie to someone, to tell them why they should go back, rewatch it, and give it another chance. What are you going to tell them?
It's awesome in its own way. If you want something fun and 80s and like you're wanting to have a blast with like 1989 horror movies, this is one of the best ones. This is one of the best. You know, kick off the end of the decade with Jason Takes Manhattan. Does it take place on a boat? Yes, but it rocks. Is it Filmed in Montreal, Canada, yes, but who cares about that? Because some of the best horror movies are made in Canada. And if you want JJ with a guitar, come on, don't be a dweeb, man. Come on, watch this movie.
Be a dweeb. You threw it in there again.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
Don't be a dweeb. Watch Jason Takes Manhattan.
I think that you may have gotten some people on your side for this.
I hope so.
I did. Yeah. I hope I did. And if people watch this and they're not a fan, but they go back and watch it again and they're like, you know what? I might not love it, but I dig this movie. Then I'm like, cheers to you. And I love that. So
yeah.
And that's what I was gonna say. You know, guys, make sure you're going back and rewatching this film. It is available for streaming on Amazon Prime as well as Hulu at the moment, but you should own it on physical media because whether you love it or hate it, it's still part of one of the best franchises of all time. Now, we would like to know down in the comments, why do you like this movie? Why don't you like this movie? Has Justin persuaded you to go back and give this movie a second chance? And we are at the end of the third act.
Yeah.
Curtain's about to drop and credits are about to roll, but remember, all of Justin's social media links, as well as his YouTube link, are down in the description. So make sure you're following him. Make sure you're subscribing to him for some amazing content, especially with Pride Month coming up. He does an awesome amount of great work during Pride Month to showcase all the things that he himself is proud of in his community and all the supporters around him. Even if we're not, Ashley and I, very strong LGBTQ plus supporters, you don't have to be on that spectrum in order to support everybody loves everybody. So make sure you're subscribing to him for some amazing content all year round. But I'm a huge fan of all the work he does on Pride Month because not only is he one of the more positive people that we know, he puts hard work, research, and ethics into every single thing he does, especially on such an important subject. So Justin, please don't go anywhere, my friend. We have a couple more questions for you. Everybody else, if you haven't already, please make sure you like and subscribe. It really helps the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. All our links are in the description as well. And until next time, keep talking horror.
Stay who you are.
And we'll see you guys soon.